people have seen this more and more, and they're trying to understand exactly like what this whole Web3 is, what is NFT, and so on. So maybe let's describe
Sure.
exactly what the metaverse is and how does one access it.
Sure. So the metaverse, that term was really coined by Meta, who now owns Facebook. If you can imagine right now, like while we're chatting, or when I go online to my Gmail account, for instance, everything is in a two-dimensional format. So the metaverse, in a sense, is actually like a three-dimensional space where you can meet somebody typically through avatars. There can be some form of interactions. Obviously, if I touch your hand, you touch my hand, we get haptic feedback. I can feel, it's almost like I'm feeling you and you're feeling me, although we're technically not touching each other. So as PTs, we kind of look at that and go, oh, that's kind of cool, but it's also like not the same as doing manual therapy. And obviously there's some limitations with that, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But the metaverse is that three-dimensional space, and it's expanding. We actually have, if you can imagine, like websites, which are almost like storefronts and locations within the cloud where the metaverse is sort of stored and lives. And our goal is to roll out potentially clinics, and maybe not for us particularly, but maybe PTs can have their own quote metaverse type clinic where they can utilize our platform and patients can meet there and see the PT, be treated, be examined. It's a promising idea. And I think the metaverse in a way is like, I kind of describe it to some of my older clients, like the internet, but in 3D. And for them, they kind of get an idea like, oh, okay, I can kind of understand that. But it's immersive, and that's something that else is important. So like, as I come into like my dashboard, just like when you walk into your desk, I look to my left and there's my notepad. I look to the right, there's my, my earbud case. As I turn around, there's the light. Versus when you go to your Gmail account, it's just the one Gmail page is all you're looking at. So I think with the metaverse and it being immersive, you will be able to be more efficient, get things done, be able to check on multiple things, have multiple images, and be able to manage a lot more than you can just on a flat desktop screen. So I think there's some promise with the metaverse, and I think that's a good description. I hope I nailed it.
You did really. I like that description. I haven't heard it described like that, where it's like three-dimensional. I think that's a great way to conceptualize it. And I've always tried to describe it as like kind of like the Ready Player One kind of idea, where you're going into this whole new world, and it's all, there's so much new technology in this area, but it's difficult to describe, especially to older people. I'm sure it's been a challenge to try to describe what's actually going on. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Absolutely. It is a little tricky, especially when you throw that word around, metaverse. And we saw that at CSM. We were just at CSM last month, and we said, we're taking physical therapy to the metaverse. And I felt like, there were some younger and some older people kind of looking at us like, well, what is the metaverse? And we're like, okay, well, let's have the conversation. So